No more drinking. I'm going to ask questions. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging around and going out there and coming back before the rain hit. We've succeeded. I want to open it up for your opportunity to ask whatever questions you might have, and realize that you can always send me an email or call me if you have more questions that come up. But we do want to try to answer all of your questions, and I realize that we've talked a lot, and I don't know who all I've talked to from this morning to this afternoon. So please, if you have questions, this is your chance to ask those questions.
Yat einana asun ano dobikeje ado dikro asun ni ke handa san yego honishkita ako nabikin ke hono ado sotie nashidof kinishne bechahanna beishbehanna edo dai beishin kesi beche sadal ingi belagani kache email yengi da ako edinal sosni chidal yana bakha with abachahanna do the email is yengi da ada bakha ako kwadai hak na nfaida ash ida da benadi dish kifanson.
So I saw a question right up front here.
I got it answered.
You got it answered. Wow, wonderful. I like those kind of questions. Let's have some more of those. Who else has a question? Yes, back there. Speak louder, please.
The road that we took out there to those lots, is that the same road that they're going to pave or not? Or is it going to be totally different taxes, depending on the lot?
Okay, the question is about the roads that were driven to go see the allotments today. From my understanding, from the way that the permit is written, those roads will stay as access roads. So what you saw today is what will remain as a road. I understand your desire to want roads to be paved, but that's not the way they were originally, and so the mine didn't have to put them back as a paved road because it was not an original paved road. But those roads are going to remain as access roads.
Corona kid at Tinigi Shada as Tinigi, no, I have kid. A call dig at Gina Bukahadi Kagigi, a Timbo, Sashi, with other as Hindon, as Hindotsa, I could either live. A call Nadi Kidigish, hot air Tinda Zibish. Junday all said I came, they done a die to slaves on there. A call issue in my AI, do put out only Basilada, Kundo, Nisha, a call death. Dick at a hot at the Astinigi, I put out under Astino, the Quay, Nikaya, Baham, Edolish.
Another question? Way in the back?
Is Chevron going to maintain the easement road?
Okay. Question was, would Chevron maintain the easement road?
As they own it now, or as they sell it, or as they own it?
Currently, it will be maintained until the permit is released. Then at that point, once the permit is released, they won't be responsible for maintaining the roads any longer. Does that answer your question?
I was asking about the easement.
Which easement are you referring to?
Just where the water is, that little pond. I'm just curious. No?
Oh, access to their land where the pond is?
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to answer that question.
Probably be best in email.
Okay, that'll work.
Ako dia atinigi bin nagakid Sharanj ape ikides ido stana ido me go inagakid. Ako andinal sos ape bishop kao go yahay atinigi yahalyan ole. Dinal sosigi but it ane ham sosi that the question but it anegi biyahanal soso but not your heart soso biya eba soso ajin siya the hanyado le.
So another question over here?
Where will the electricity supply be coming from after you turn it over?
The question was about getting electricity added to access.
Who will be supplying it, or
Who would supply the electricity? From my understanding, that's the local electric co-op that would be the one to provide electricity through their service, which you'd have to contact them to.
some areas are not donation and some areas are...
Well, correct. The area that we are specifically looking at is all part of McKinley County. So it would be the local co-op electric source for them, not the Navajo Nation.
Bishop Chi dam egi shang ishi khadan Bishop Chi hadol no shi no na dishkid ako kayo hagi be na chot khan ki bahni sadoshi yagi siso hada sosle na khad zabiye county ne ako sashi county jibe bahni ado akan so she Navajo Nation jibe bahni ako county jibe bahni ke she ya ako Allottee County ye Bishchi but other than igi she ajishi be bahni to le ado na akut na be khoji be kaya yot kangi ke na be khoda Bishchi das igi ke aj be bahni to le.
Another question? Yes.
How many allotments do you so you're only allowed 1 acre per allotment, or is it 1 acre in a specific allotment?
You're asking about putting residence?
Yeah.
The question was about how much you could get for a residential lease, and that's where you'd have to speak directly to the BIA. That's why we gave you that piece of paper. I don't know if it's one residential lease per allotment or if it's just one per person. That's up to the BIA's.
Kudai nade kiti de ho wana jale ho asafa ha zahat nile ako dukwi gula behas akot fadne ho no nade kid ako ege aje kaya do le shigi binache ho wan ado ne shigi eshe BIA bande tango aje BIA bahas ni to le ako ege na ya kondi na sos ni khas ni ya hajne khod ado ne shigi ki ada tabaka ado apishi baitza hai nabade kido hajon ishani do le.
I saw some other hands go up. Questions? Yes, sir.
After everything is situated, how do we go through? Where do we come in to go to the law?
The question was about getting access through gates and other ways to access the land once it's been released. I think some of those details are still being worked out, but once we get to the place of actually releasing the land from the mine permit, then all of those details should be in place. and I don't have that information right in front of me as to how that's going to happen. But yes, I do understand you want access to your land, you want to be able to get through lock gates, all that. Again, that still goes back to the BIA because we give it to the land to the BIA and then they provide you with the ability to use the land. So speaking to them is really going to be your point of how you're going to work access.
According tinginan khashit ha ashish kaya bahum tedo leshno shinaidesh kid. Ako kwagi kwait gadod mitiki ishit on the bayat kidot on the benanish. De bazen go haidi de not sosigi bia bandet adod kaya with much not sosi bandet shi abe kwait hai nuka adleta lesh adab shi bazen do lesh ako asta hunanat نليس وقد عدد زابيا إيبا نتقام عدد من يبا إتزاو بخن عشيم وجاء خالد آدم نلتون خادي دولي.
Other questions?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes?
Before Chevron gives it back, are they saying that it's safe to start doing foundations and leaving it home? Or are they just saying that they're done with the work and they're giving it to BIA to determine that?
So the question was, when Chevron is released from the permit, does that mean the land is safe to put a foundation for a home on, or is it something that BIA would be deciding? From the mine's perspective, from the state's perspective, we don't say that the land is going to be safe for putting firm foundations. That's something that each individual allotment and allottee will need to determine themselves. Because if the land was never disturbed by the mine, that's one scenario. If the land was disturbed by the mine, but it was only disturbed minimally, 5 or 10 or 20 feet disturbance, that's one thing. But if it was 2 or 250 foot disturbance, that's a whole other thing. And so it really has to be based on who you are, where your allotment is, what BIA gave you as a residential lease, for you to really look at that very, very specific situation. And obviously, you could contact Chevron and find out, well, what happened in this part of the, because right now we don't know where your residential lease is going to be located. Is it going to be on a disturbed area that was deeply disturbed, 200 foot, or was it an area that was only minimally disturbed, 10 feet? Or was it not disturbed at all? So that's going to be between you and the BIA when they finally give you that residential lease to come back with what actually happened here. So that's going to, it's going to take you doing some serious research to figure that out.
Neither kid ako dige also kaya nada dest aladan khanda dest aladan Khaled Eddie Crab ho one bakano nizneha ako kaya gi khait aw hasi has anulek kaya lingi ape hajoda tsena misken ero da zet andi jerodo hono josh Ako din hada hasogigi at fish avansa kista. Sa atiso yan dastil kaya. Say abtrait out kaya dastil. Say agisi atsko binda asge. Edish ako anhi ni kaya tahalonigi anhi khaishi hawandish afsinigi ege Kweda yo hastil da kwashin johot ashin bikaba zindole. Adosla agise kaya handa de gegi eba hastki anik da jo kaya nan keno. Ako an hin khadm da has aniki ashat sashi bohne zak ho wanjet leho sashi aya aba hastio
Anybody else have some questions? Yes?
With these, what you categorize, what the CIA knows that it's categorized, whether it's high, low, medium, whatever.
So the question was, would BIA have the ability to categorize what that particular area was disturbed or not disturbed? I would doubt that BIA is going to have that knowledge. That's where you as the Allottee owner will have to determine and do the research to contact Chevron, to contact the state, and even we won't necessarily have specific details about some of that. Some of that could get researched, but it will take some time to do that.
Ako kwagi kaya mana tingi sa adon da beki da sai ai fan so shi so da sai ai is fundeki ako hot has angigi BIH the thousand of this escape has is ingigi no in this kid ako anat zio kodo ai kwagi shi ai BIH the thousand Khalad Chevron Aginash Nishtal, Shido Fan Sashin, Hikodan, the Shido, which I need Bakadan Z, a con de Natan, Dide, Asai, Nikishkada Sogi, Asant, a co ADE, at 7 Nashes Kiddo, Chevron, but Nashidos Kiss, Erodai. Achat and Shida dan Shidos Kiss or call is Shanshi White Aya and Kid has America, which is a tackle wish. Others of all made Santa, or Zippo made Santa. None she don't need.
What's your projected release date?
That's a good question. I get asked that a lot. I don't have, the question is, what's the projected release date? I don't actually have a projected release date. We are working as quickly as we can to release this from the mine permit. Right now, my best guess is, if not by the end of this year, hopefully by the beginning of next year. It all depends on how quickly we can inspect and evaluate that the land has been reclaimed and all the drainages, all the erosion features that we find have been repaired, and that each of these different areas is very unique. Chevron has done a lot of work on this particular allotment area for Section 11, because we had already done some inspections on it and said, these things need to be fixed, and they've done that. So that's why they've come in with that application. I don't know exactly how many items in this area have been identified that still need to be fixed. But like I said, we are trying to do this as quickly as we can to be able to release the land as quickly as possible.
Those will make that determination. It's good to go.
My office is responsible for determining when the land is ready to be released.
Corona Day, a call, all Bansaki, so Shashin go, La Haiti, the Kayaki, baby cheetahs, and no Nadish kip. A call, Amanat Zero, I just sit with a big color, been days, Skin over on Nisbo, trying to been days, mission day. Can't so shit under Nanish, not of Nissi. I said, Nanas Casa. I say that the next and Danshi Fan Soji told that the Osiki a Quagish at all least no Adagia. Others don't do that they kid got the poor young that when it's Timo. A coeda is those Adagia. A coed and an age, she will not about them those days. The Dick at Kodo Chevron yet not so things, so Ziki a did. Kaya Heart, so Section 11, or yeah, big corny trust, Niki, ARF, with the Najnish cut, no hai yana sos ni sos better about chicken yeah. What was the last question? I didn't get to
Who's responsible for deciding?
Oh, okay. Okay, na dei kiri ge ya khoshe ya de bodni ye la do se ke ya de be chi do no na dei kid. Ako sheran ge ya khaisge di ko do yo todo hada ge di ke dei si gi be ya de boda hadni ye di kadla be de do shfiza di mi do.
Anyone have any other questions?
Will we be notified when
You're welcome,
it's
thank you.
released back to us?
Well, that's part of the problem. Yes, it goes to BIA first. Most likely we will be sending out a notification letter that states that these lands have been released from the mine permit. So that's why it's especially important that you have your information up to date with the BIA so that we're able to mail those letters to you. But it doesn't go directly to you, it goes to the BIA, and then it's through them that you end up being able to use the land.
Ako hod ke yagi kadlan bebe chido le hodo nidosh ni china da atlet le ako ako na shi o bon exam hod ni china ne ha de ba ko no sendo le ati de ke ada ni ke API na sosis ani ke ebik ha ebna ni je da sa otza go na sos khana je ki da sa otza go aje asa ha de now hashte now ya ate le Ado ya hai bina chapao sino ya han hisnan do le ako ado stonna na bia bande adi stonna na bahadni ni hisnan ne do se do le
I think we have time for 2 more questions. Anybody else have a question? And again, let me reiterate, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have a question that you didn't get answered today, please contact me, and I will do my best to answer your question. You may call me at the middle of the night. I won't answer, but you may call me. I have a voicemail. I cleared it out. You actually can leave a message.
Ako do sanada kilata johot eze Look, Leslie, da young agent so visit next shop. Kaila Naridish kidnapping simple. A court salada, Shachondosne. So she young Jahad is Sitande, Sadikina, you have kind of Misain, card of the show, Nijin, now they sleep.
Any last questions? You've all been asking wonderful, good questions, so please keep asking them. We do our best to answer them. We want to be able to answer them. And if you don't have any more questions, then I think we can call it a day and you can all go home. Uh-oh, somebody's ruining the party. He's got a question.
Will this access right here be the original access then? Are they going to close that chevron where you said it's private property? What, 264?
The question was about access.
Is this going to be the access that's going to remain here that goes that way?
We don't have specifics about what the access that will be once the mine is fully released. But there will be these roads that you see, especially where we looked at today in area 11. Hopefully there will be a better access to that area than coming all the way from up here. But we don't have those specifics today. But when we actually get to that point of full release, then there should be some specifics, right-of-ways, legal access that will be granted to you as the Allottee landowners. Does that answer your question?
Chevron or BIA?
I don't know that. Both, most likely. He asked if it would be Chevron or BIA.
Ako corona did did kayagi bela chido BIA banat kadlang hinat len hido nido khado she ya hot edo les dik ad shunda is jegi dan she ha hot edo les aron dando as at aban bana as bitina as tinigi akot awste ya bahun edo no na idek ako an khaban sa ke sot AI is ben hata da zani AD ta do li khode do mikligi ako anan khaladi dik ad jins on de shat Allah asna na jo atinda ajsa ado kwada ya hot ige ya le khode khed wo in da khode ya hot jo da ai da shi adan khaban sa ke so de shanshi khana da khyan da zo do yin da ha
Thank you again all for coming out, for participating in this process, for asking good questions, and for being participating. We want you to be participating. We want the land to be released back to you so you can use it.
Asia kon hana yao sado tha so ligi don hinas ni ke andan do sano aron da dos kidigi an khan sa ke sado tha non ni khan sa ke so da ilin na ha kon ka da do ni do da dos kidon an kha ha ko sha jino shin hasi ho wan de na kha do de wan ki da je do de.
Thank you.